What's up, Juventini? We've got a bunch to look at in the rumor mill. Updates to Sandro Tonali, Jonathan David, and even Chico Conceição with an interesting report from Mirko Di Natale. Then we're going to get to the coaching scenario. Old, Motta sounds off. Future, we've got percentages of who next season's coach is going to be. And current, Tudor, he gives his presser ahead of the big game against Roma tomorrow, and we're going to look at the projected lineup together. I'm Berto. This is the AJ Sear channel dedicated to Juventus. It's April 5th. Let's rock with the news. And we kick things off with Sandro Tonali. After a ton of speculation from Italian media, they're claiming that Juve is going to go after Sandro Tonali. English media has finally jumped on board, and they claim that contacts are underway between Juventus and Newcastle to see if a move for Sandro Tonali is feasible. The other part of this that the Italian media is picking up is claiming that Newcastle has serious interest in their part in Douglas Luiz to help facilitate this move. English media hasn't jumped on that one just quite yet. So Italian media claims this is the most important thing to watch to see if this can happen. We all know, and I'm going to go a step further, claiming that the most important thing above all is qualifying for top four and Champions League. That is what Juventus must do first and foremost. However, that is the latest now English media claiming that contacts are underway between the two clubs. When it comes to Jonathan David, Alfredo Pedula claims that Juve has had recent discussions and contacts with the player and his entourage, and it seems that Juve is his preferred choice and destination. Now, he also reports that Juve has flat out told Jonathan David they will not reach his demands, but they will offer a salary that is close and give him a smaller signing bonus. Let's see if we can land Jonathan David. When it comes to Chico Conceição, an interesting report from Mirko Di Natale. He is essentially insinuating that Chico Conceição's move to Juventus is pretty much already agreed upon from Jorge Mendes and Juventus, who have a good working relationship, and that Mirko Di Natale basically doubts that Juve will go back on their word despite what's happened with the coach. He opens the possibility of picking up Chico Conceição and then potentially selling him on the back side of things. But the move to Juventus, he claims, is all but done and agreed upon for that 30 million euro release clause. Let's see what goes down. When it comes to coaches, well, we kick things off with the old, as we're going to go through old, current, and future. For old, Motta sounds off, breaking his silence after the Juventus exit. You could see my YouTube short video on that one, breaking it down a little bit, but basically all he said is that he believes Juve should have given him more time, and he claims there are no issues with players, and there never was any issues with players whatsoever. We know it's just PR nonsense. He is just trying to save face best way as possible before the job hunt for himself continues. But he did speak to a lot of the players. He actually didn't throw anyone under the bus by any means, and he had nothing but good, respectful things to say around the roster. But when it came to a mistake, who was or what was the biggest mistake? He claims Hans Nicolussi Caviglia was the biggest mistake looking back. And Hans Nicolussi Caviglia, he says, has shown tremendous quality. Do you agree that that is the biggest mistake? It's easy to look at it now and the way things played out. I always said, and even at that time, that fee was laughable because the whole package with loan and purchase price came to around 5 million euros for Hans Nicolussi Caviglia. But at the start of the season, I would have never guessed or banked on him making significant progress in our roster with Thuram coming in, Cole Miners coming in, Douglas Luiz coming in, Locatelli there. It just didn't make any sense to keep him around. But at that price, maybe you could have argued a loan without obligation to purchase. Yeah, this one probably a kick in the junk the way it played out afterwards. But at that moment in time, I wouldn't have seen it as a big mistake. But you know the drill. Weigh in. That's what Motta essentially had to say. As far as the future goes, Fabiana Della Valle, she was the first to break out Vlahovic. She's not tremendously credible, all right, but she hit Vlahovic before anybody. Well, she claims that these are your percentages for next season's coach at Juventus. She claims that as far as Conte goes, he is 40%. Tudor, 30%. And then Pioli, Gasperini, and Mancini, 10% each as far as chances to be Juve's next coach. So Conte in the lead when it comes to Fabiana Della Valle. As far as our current coach goes, it's Igor Tudor, and he gave his presser ahead of the big game tomorrow against Roma. We're live 8:30 a.m. Eastern time, getting you hyped up for that one. And yes, there's a watch along, all right? But he had this to say: Luis and Cambiaso, they are back, but they will not be starting. All right, so Tudor confirms they will not be starting. Co-Miners, he says, yes, we had a discussion. He's worked great and training was solid this week. He is motivated. All right. Yildiz, he says, needs to find consistency and continuity, but he is a serious young man. Adzic has trained with the team, and I like him. Gatti, that is an important absence for us, but we have others ready to step up. For Conceição, he is intelligent and carries the right mentality. He says, I want a Juve with style, structure, and identity. I believe in daily work and sacrifice, and each week we are ready to sacrifice all. And tomorrow we will do that, as it is important and decisive. Your projected 11 for this matchup is as follows. Di Gregorio in goal. Kalulu, Vega, and Kelly, your 3 center backs. Nico continues at the outside right position. Locatelli, Thuram, and McKennie as the outside left, with Yildiz and Chico Conceição behind Dusan Vlahovic. How do you feel about that starting lineup, everybody? For me, the one change I would make is I would actually start Kolo Muani. Do you agree with me or disagree? I can't wait to hear from you all. As that wraps up your news break, like the video, subscribe to the channel, join our AJC army, and let me know what you think about all the news you just heard. And I hope to see you all live tomorrow morning as it's game day. Let's go, everybody. Fino alla fine. Forza Juventus. Ciao tutti.